to 5% mark, but obviously that changed once they made. The ceiling fell in on me. Hey everyone, hope you're doing well and welcome to The Loft. Today we're going to be taking a little bit of time just to go over my portfolio, see what's happened over the last week on this weekly update, and then come up with a conclusion on how we think my portfolio has done over this last week. So without further ado, let's jump into the weekly update and see what's happened with the portfolio. So as of last week, we had a portfolio value of £3,086, which was a return of 13.6%, working out to be around £364 in monetary return. This week, however, if we go through, we can see we have a new portfolio value of £3,160. However, we only have a return of 11.7%. This is working out to be an actual monetary return of £332. So overall, we have lost out on around £30 in actual value, as well as 2% or instead of 2% as of the return of the portfolio. If we take a little bit of time just to do some comparables and look at the VOO ETF, we can see that the ETF did unsurprisingly beat my portfolio this week, whereas it did drop. It only dropped a small fraction, less than 1%, and obviously my portfolio dropped around 2%, so overall not particularly good there. Moving over to look at the buys and sales for last week, we have a little bit of activity here, and all of this took place on the 30th. This started with me filling out my Verizon position. I filled it out to a full 1 share by buying 0.9 for around £36.28. This was then followed by a share of Altria that I purchased in full for £34.56. Then a tiny 0.06 of Amgen, I believe, for a total of £10.46, rounding it out to a nice 0.1 of a position. And finally, I also picked up 0.3 of Philip Morris. This cost me a total of £21.56, and ideally works out to me getting around £5 additional per year in dividends. Talking of dividends, if we jump across and look at dividends, this is slightly interesting compared to last week, with a total of 3 dividends coming in, and we had a payment coming in on the 26th with Simon Property Group sending over 17p in exchange for me holding 0.2 of a share. Then we had 2 payments coming in on the 29th. The first one came in from Cisco Systems. They sent over a full 45p for me holding 2 shares. And then this was followed up by 8 pennies from Comcast for half a share that I currently hold. This brings me to a total dividend amount for last week of about 70p, which I think rounds off the month quite nicely. Now, before we finish, I think it is worth just taking a little bit of time to look at the companies that have given me the best return and worst return. And talking of the best percentage return, this company is ING with over 100% in return. Then if we look at what companies actually paid me the most amount of money in terms of which one, if I sold now, will I have made the most money on, that actually goes to Main Street Capital, monthly payer of dividends. They've made me a return of around £29 on 5 shares that I've initially invested. Flipping the coin over and looking at the worst companies, we have the biggest percentage drop being Hormel Foods, who are down around 13%, with the biggest cash loss coming from AT&T, who are currently down around £9. I'm not particularly unhappy with this, shall we say. I would like to potentially buy some more AT&T now that they have dropped so much. They're now taking up 2.5% of the portfolio rather than the ideal level of 4% that we were looking at. So I may be buying some more of them in the future, but we'll have to see what's going on there. I am interested to see what the overall view is. So if you are as well, I would suggest subscribing if you're not already, because we'll be covering that in our monthly update that will be taking place on Saturday. And if you want to get up to date, see what's happened over the last couple of months and monthly updates, I would suggest checking out this playlist here, which just basically breaks down the updates one after another for you to watch through. And until next time, remember to invest, save, and subscribe.